Okay, valence electrons and Lewis dot diagrams. Let's jump right in.
Taking a break from the electron configurations to focus on only a few of the electrons. Which ones?
Electrons in the s and p orbital of the highest energy level of an atom.
The outermost, farthest away from the nucleus to the sublevel. So there's an electron configuration for silicon.
Silicon.
And we only want the P's and the S's.
The highest energy level. The
The
3
third
is the
one.
highest energy level.
So
S's and
3P.
P's.
3S.
So how many valence electrons does that one have?
4
valence electrons.
2 in the S, 2 in the P. Okay,
Excellent.
those are the valence electrons.
Pretty simple. Another example, cobalt.
Cobalt. Highest energy level, find it.
It's a little tricky. It's not 3, it's 4.
It's only the 4. 4 is the energy level. The numbers are the energy level.
Yeah.
And in that energy level, it only has S's.
So
So
there's
there
only
are
2
2 valence electrons.
So the easiest way to find valence electrons is to use the periodic table.
So go ahead and get yours out. You're going to be writing on it right now.
Okay, we're going to label the top of the columns. So each group, I shouldn't say each group, but several of the groups will be able to identify how many valence electrons there are. So in the first column, or group 1, 1 valence electron.
Okay? Because it's P1, right?
Yep, S1.
S1.
Yeah.
It's S1.
Yeah, so there's one
Second
S electron.
column, there are 2 valence electrons because those are all in the S2 position.
Yep.
2 valence electrons. This is a D.
Yep.
We do not need the transition metals
Yeah,
because
we're going to skip over those.
Ds are not
basically.
valence electrons. So you don't need to write that on your
So
periodic table.
technically, if you really want to get into it, all the transition metals have 2 valence electrons. So it goes 1, 2, and then you skip over those transition metals, and they all have 2 until you get to column 3 or 13, depending on what you're looking at on the periodic table.
And they have 3 valence electrons, 2 S's and 1 P.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you see the pattern.
4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that 8 is special. We'll come back to that in a little bit, but that 8 is special. Okay, so we're going to basically do some practice real quick and find the valence electrons.
First we'll do carbon. There's carbon.
Carbon.
There's got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Excellent.
Bromine.
Easy enough.
There it is.
There's bromine. It's over in the 7th column. So it has 7
7.
valence electrons.
Calcium. It's in the second one, S2.
2 valence electrons.
And now we're going to get to the dot diagrams, where we're going to actually use the valence electrons to show them around the symbol.
Yep. So really all a dot diagram is a representation of an atom, and you use dots to show the valence electrons.
Carbon has 4. You might notice with that carbon, we'll put it up here, that there are 4 different sides. We'll say a top, bottom, a left, and a right. There's 4 different sides there. We're going to use those 4 different sides to put valence electrons in.
Right. So it's kind of like when you make the orbital diagrams, you want to put 1 electron around each side before you start doubling them up.
So if I have 4 electrons,
Then
there's 4 sides.
Right.
Each one gets a single electron.
yeah, so we can have 1 for each side.
Bromine,
Bromine
each
has
one
7.
gets a single,
And then we're going to go back and double them up.
and then they get doubled. Doesn't
And
matter which one's
that
by
does
itself,
7.
but one of the sides
7.
is by itself. Calcium has 2, so it doesn't matter which 2 sides, 2 of them have single dots.
And then 2 of them have nothing.
It's the dot
'cause there's only
diagram.
2. Yep, that's it. Couple more for practice. Take a minute and pause your podcast here. Draw a dot diagram for strontium, oxygen, and palladium.
Strontium has 2 valence electrons.
All right.
Oxygen has 4.
4. And
Nope. Oxygen,
6.
silly.
6.
Oxygen has 6.
Nice.
And palladium,
Palladium is a transition metal, so hopefully this wasn't too tricky, but it only has 2
it
valence
only has
electrons.
2 from the S's, because
Yeah.
the D's are not valence. So strontium, I'm going to go opposite sides.
Oh, nice.
Oxygen,
balanced.
2, 3, 4, 5,
And
6.
There we go.
And palladium,
Just like strontium.
except we'll do the top few.
Top and
Top
bottom.
and bottom.
All right. That's it. That's all there is to dot diagram.